Gucci flip-flops, fucking hit your bitch and massage. This a big watch, diamonds dripping off with a clock. 26, dropping the sauce, give it to they pussy ass, turn this shit up a notch. Gucci flip-flops, make it kick rock, it's a big clock. Shake the wrist watch, Gucci flip-flops, fucking hit your bitch and massage. This a big watch, diamonds dripping off with a clock. Bad baby, got this bitch and bustin' for cash. Do that ass, try to claim it, bitch, I'm busting your ass.
Being so consistent overall. They had 5 games out of the 12 where they placed in the top 3. And remember, that top 3 is where the big format kind of gets in. That's where the big placement points are. And so an average placement was 6.5 across 12 games was really, really impressive from them. And you know, Muzz's placements overall have been so good. There's been barely any tournaments, be it a solo cash cup, trio cash cup, FNCS qualifier, anything that he's been out of the top 5. So like, this is a very well deserved first place for this team. You know, in second we had Sync, Sorf, and Volks. You know, they were in that lead coming out of the first day as well, but unfortunately did not manage to pick up the first place slot. They played so good, and you know, Sync, I spoke to him earlier. It's the second time in a row that he's come second in an FNCS, so he's obviously not too happy about it, but over time he's qualified through to remember the top 3 teams will qualify automatically for next season's finals as well, so you know what, he's now feeling much more confident that going into the next season he can take that first place slot.
Yeah, shout out to Muzzy, man. These guys put in some work and it paid off. Nothing less than top 8 coming into that second day. Take a look there on your screens in 6th place, Jinx, Alec, and Werby. They had a bit of a rough day one. Right, a bit of a rough day one. They came back and they made something of it. Right, they did what they could in day 2 and it was enough.
Gucci flip-flop, suck a nigga dick through his socks.
And I know for certain they're going to want to come back next season and try and reclaim that sort of title,
looking like a big fucking rock.
You know, the winners of the Ice
Dude, where's the
Even
Molly,
looking
man?
at
I'm trying to get
Rainbow
high.
Days, such fine margins, man. Just a couple
Come
points
on
to put in a lot of these teams. And,
Come on
you know, so
now.
much
Hey,
money on the
come
line.
in,
You
come
want
on.
to be that team
Hey,
that takes us for
come on now.
They could have just maybe moved up the standings a bit.
Hey.
So congrats to all the players who participated. Great stuff from the DC region.
Yeah,
That's right, and now we shift our attention back here to Europe. We have 6 matches here ahead of us. And another trio waiting to be crowned the FNCS champions. We got to recap what happened yesterday, gentlemen. Just to kind of set the stage, we have representation from every single FNCS previous to this one. Andalex, Stockton, Wake, Tyson, Janice, all players returning, looking to claim the title once again.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen right now Leaderboard's looking very nice. In second, we can see Benji's team along with Master Amplify. They performed very well. They picked up a massive victory out from the low ground that we just saw, and that was in game 2. In the top of our leaderboard currently, you know, we've got Teak, Tammy, and Seti as well going in. And these guys have been very consistent. They started a little bit slow, but coming into the last 3 games, they ended up being 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. And like I already mentioned a couple times, 3rd is where the big placement points start coming in. So the huge amount of placement points. As you can see, they are in the top of that leaderboard. A little bit less eliminations, and that's their typical play style. You know, they are those guys who are going to be getting that put themselves up in the leaderboard, but not necessarily fragging out as hard.
Yeah, great stuff all around, right? I said at the top of the show, exactly what we expected, right? All of the top names sort of in the finals, really showing up, right? Taking a look at some of the players here who, you know, maybe you'd expect to see a bit higher up. Andalex, Snaziak, Squeeze, iDrop, Tayson, Mr. Savage. These are 2 really strong trios who, you know, sort of didn't start off the way they would have expected to yesterday. And, you know, now is the opportunity. There is day 2 for a reason. You have a chance now to sort of make up for it over the course of the next 6 games. And we know it's possible because just like we saw with OCE, where we saw Jinx, Werby, and Alex trio sort of have a bad day 1 and make up for it in day 2, those trios have the potential to do that today.
Yeah, and any teams you're seeing right here, these are not out of the running by any means. Last season, Flick and Aston Tom's HD were in the 5th slot coming into the second day. So they were currently where Nico is right now. And they ended the day in 3rd. So anything can really happen in these leaderboards right now, you know. And I think any of these teams who are, you know, they're not currently in the top 10, it's a new day. Hopefully they've reset their mentality, they've slowed things down, they've assessed their weaknesses, and maybe changed up their game plan a little bit. Nothing too major. You don't want to be starting anything new in the second day of the finals. Might not be the time to employ some new strategies, but hopefully they've kind of figured out the mistakes. They come in with a fresh mind, and they're feeling good for today, confident, because anything can happen, and these guys can definitely climb back up the leaderboards.
I mean, boys, the tension is in the air. You could farm this tension with a pickaxe for materials. I guarantee it. Now, of course, we know we like to take a look at predictions and kind of talk through which trios we think could be the next FNCS Trios champions. Now, I think what's super interesting here is this is the first time that Reese and Levin have actually aligned on a trio. Reese, why is this?
Because our brains are so big. That's why. Our brains are incredibly massive right now. But you know what? It seems like our picks picking up to be correct because they're currently sitting in third place when we look at the leaderboards. And, you know, Hen, Janice, and Chapix, these guys have been popping off. We've seen Hen in particular hit some absolutely beautiful snipes out of the gate. But, you know, at the top of the day, for me in particular, I picked these guys because there hasn't been a single tournament they've played that they haven't placed outside of the top 5. So if we're going for a prediction for number 1, these guys have been as consistent as it gets. So definitely a top team and showing up to date already in the finals in day 1. And I'm sure they'll do exactly the same going into today.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that can stop these guys, right? Regardless of what zone pools where, these guys seemingly are able to perform, and I definitely expect them to continue to do that over the course of the 6 games today. Shire's gone with Flick and Naston Thomas, an incredibly strong pick. These guys are sitting in 4th place right now. We saw what they could do in heats, right? They completely dominated their heat, and they're looking to try maybe sort of have a massive comeback like the way they did last season, right? Last season's trios, you know, came into day 2 sitting in, 15th place. They were able to turn things around and finished in 3rd. So they're going to be looking to try and, you know, they're starting from a higher up position this time coming into day 2, right? And hopefully maybe they can sort of turn things around, push themselves, and really be the team to pull away and take the lead. Sancho's gone with iDrop, Tayson, and Mr. Savage. One of the trios who is a top trio. Do not get me wrong. Do not be deceived by the fact that these guys, you know, aren't sitting in the top 5. These guys are a top trio. They had a rough day yesterday. You know, it's going to be time for them to sort of pull something out of nowhere, right? They can't blame zones. They can't blame, you know, sort of things out of their control. They've just got to be one of these trios who, regardless of what happens, they're going to be able to perform. And I do believe they have the ability to do that.
This is kind of like an anime in a lot of ways, right? You look across and you're like, oh, here's the main character of the story, I think, or maybe that's the main character. But in every shadow that is cast, some new enemy, some new trio could rise up and say, listen, you forgot about us. Now, I'm very excited coming into the day because we have to remember that this is a finals competition. This is a very tippy top, the 1%, if you will. Now, off of yesterday's performance, we saw Pink, we saw Trulix, and Stompy. They came out super strong with the Victory Royale. They had height, but then the rest of the lobby was like ready to answer, right? And I think that's what we kind of have to focus on. We see height with a lot of games. But when we're looking at that 1%, Reese, a lot of these trios are going to be like, no. Oh, I see you're making a play. We were doing a thing, but that's more important right now.
You know, the issue with Pink's, Trulix, and Stompy's gameplay yesterday was like they started off so good, right? They had a 10 elimination first place. They took that height early. They were sitting up in that top spot. They felt confident. They did pretty much exactly the same thing going into game 2. However, they did not have the ammo to do it. So they were on height. They didn't have the ammo. And then, you know, they placed all the way up until 2nd, which was good, but they get 1 elimination from height, which is, you know, your average is going to be 5+. So didn't manage to get the refresh on the ammo, so couldn't apply pressure down. And that's when Benji picked up that big, great Victory Royale moment that they did in game 2. Game 3, they attempted the same strat where they kind of were low on materials and they just played for height regardless. It didn't end up taking it, and Pink ended up going down, and then they ended up trying to go for it a second time during the first moving. So, you know, for this team in particular, it looked like there was a little bit of like kind of one trick. And after those games, we saw them kind of go down the leaderboard a little bit more. So hopefully today they've come back and tried to figure that out. And, you know, there's other teams like Kamiseti and Teak who did pretty much the opposite of that, who, you know, started a little bit slow, fixed their game plan, and then in that last 3 games, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, just by playing low and mid ground over their kind of typical play style. So hopefully we're going to see all different types of teams like adapt to their situations today.
What do you think, Levin?
Well, look, it's much of the same. I think if you look at the teams who were successful yesterday over the course of those 6 games, the teams who were sort of really being able to prioritize and get good position in some broke it down after a couple of the games where we've seen so many teams on the Storm, man, right? So many teams who aren't getting into zone relatively early. You know, you're sort of rotating alongside another team, and there's potential for things to go wrong there. And so, look, who's going to be able to realize, hey, look, nobody was really getting into zone early last time out. Can we be that team to maybe use a vehicle to rotate in quickly and, you know, take advantage of the fact that there's not really anyone taking that sort of initiative? Those are the teams who are going to be successful today.
Oh, man. Well, Fortnite fam, we ain't gotta wait that long, because it's time. We're boarding the battle bus. Find your seats. We're kicking off the competition in style. We've got Sancho West in his championship gold. It's Shia Wager. You know he's got a floral pattern button up. Let's say hello to our casters. Over to you guys.
It's been an everlasting war this season of the FNCS, and we are now in its endgame. Welcome to day 2 of the finals, and after these 6 games, we'll have crowned a champion in the region of Europe.
It is Shio Wager and Sancho West bring you all the action, breaking it all down. And boy, we have a treat for you. Thank you so much for joining us in Around the World. It is day 2, game 1, and it is time to see who's going to put a big-time effort to move up that leaderboard. I'm telling you, Shio, there's going to be a lot of... Sometimes another team can come in and cut it off. For Flick Anas Thomas HD, it's nice. The only added thing that changes the way Fortnite's played and competitive is Storm Surge. So all these teams will have to go and get damage. If they don't do enough, this magical lightning comes down from above and damages them. So you'll notice after, Chapik's on screen right now with Hen and Janice is done looting, these guys will go out, try to get that damage. That is the name of the game. We definitely got to take a look at the first zone reveal here. That will determine a lot here as a battle does break out. And it is a battle between Advise Trio and Setis Trio. Some former teammates here in this battle here is kind of getting crazy. I can't believe that this is kind of breaking out so early. It's just showing you how there is a hole in the Cammy split, and you caught out in the distance all alone. A trio will push you. It looks like Arthur's trio has made that decision here, and it's up to Teak here to hold on. This is the first place team here, Trio, that is in trouble here in game 1.
It's a 1v3 as well, but everyone is low on the bottom side. Seti will get finished in just a minute, and that could have some big siphon that will not help Teak whatsoever. He has basically a timer to get these eliminations. I'm not sure if that team down below with Advise, Cubics, and Arthur has heals. If they do, this will spell trouble. There's a chance here for Teak, Sancho, but I'm not sure if he can honestly do this.
No, it's not looking good here considering that there's no shields. Oh my goodness. Oh, another team is coming in the distance, trying to some shots here. So Teak now using that flopper has one opportunity to maybe hold on. And it's Slender Trio. This is from Retail Row. Retail Row is coming in. They heard the noise and they're rotating in and they want a piece of that action.
Bottom team will go away right now. Teak is still at the top of this base, still at the precipice of the podium of EU today. The issue though is that his time at first place might be short. Consistency is a very good game plan, but if you fall short in just even one game, your entire tournament result could go awry.
So many adjustments are happening that we will break down as Teak does fall. So essentially what's happened is Kubix has been landing at Pleasant Park for this entire first day 1. And day 2, they had more people visit Pleasant Park.
Wow.
So now they decide to move, and look, this is another adjustment. Reason had a great strategy revolving around pushing Ingram, but now that Ingram has moved, he's gonna have to go ahead and push Kinzel there in Coral Castle. And so far, it's not gonna work because right now they lose 1 a trade, 2 trios lose a trade. Now Deceptos goes down, Kinzel goes down. Advise, there's some big time names. Advise goes down in the feed way back below, but let's focus here as Vadil and Noah Riley clean up the mess, and they're going to be able to pick up their other trio, make it reboot them. But look at these, man. It's kind of crazy now. You see Kibo's trio. There is so many trios here in Salty Towers. Where is Savage's trio? This is their home.
if you guys are wondering why we're surprised and you didn't watch day one, basically everything's changed in day two. All the trios you would expect to be in certain places aren't there. There's new players there.
Wow.
And Sancho, you're using the word adjustments. Adjustment would be like a small wave, right? On the beach that might change a few things. These are tsunamis of change coming in. This is a completely different finals.
Dude, it's like these trios have decided to cannonball. There's no like finesse. There's no like high dive. There's no like small splash. No, they're going for a big time splash because they need to. So the question will be, where is Savage's trio? You know, Cisse's trio, they're the one they went to Pleasant Park a couple times. They dipped into that there at the end of game 6. So it's so fascinating to see how these trios are doing their best. They're making these adjustments. Doing their best, they're making these adjustments. But man, one thing this is going to work for is the teams that have a strategy like Badil's trio.
Yeah, and these guys haven't had that strategy really working out the best for them on the first day. Currently 5th right now on the leaderboard. We would expect them actually to be higher. They could never actually go to fight other people as much because no one wanted to drop around them, Sancho. That's how aggressive these guys are. No one wanted any of the POIs around them. That's why they flopped all the way over towards, you know, Coral Castle, got all that elimination down onto Kinzel, which is unfortunate. And now they have that game plan rolling in that we usually see them in every finals. This means we have an aggressive trio on the field that's not going to stop pushing boxes.
Wow, man, I cannot wait to see how everyone's changing up. We did see in the feed earlier, Pink did go down, get knocked, and it was the Vior trio. So Hydro 16 being challenged. There's so many of the top of the board being challenged, and already the #1 spot going down. We're seeing this battle right here in Lazy Lake. I think Joe is now finally putting into this fray. Joe has been here before, though. Joe's trio has contested Lazy Lake. Blackie's trio hasn't been finding some success out of here. And also, Karma has not found success here. They've been going down early, kind of get wounded going into the 3rd and 4th circle. So this is going to be a big engagement for Legends trio to survive Joe's pressure.
Joe's just outside the top 10 right now as well. That's where we see an increase in prize money as well. It's a huge fight for him. It's just really a 1-point game all across the leaderboard as well. Today, the points are just so close. If you guys missed that format as well, basically 30 placement points alongside 2 points for every elimination. So you can really change and carve the way you can move up the standings and rankings. Still, though, it's going to be difficult. These are some of the top teams. If you haven't watched Karma, Legends, or Aware before either, they're very good at playing off of each other's energy, each other's angles. You'll notice now they're all on that low ground, making sure no one can dive in on one single person. They'll have to challenge all 3 at the same time.
And this is all adjustments based on VOD reviews. It's not about where the storm is. It's just about finding opportunities to get storm surge tags. The whole entire day 1, they were doing it by kind of perching up in forts. Now the EU region has decided to let's up close and personal box fights.
Now, I know it's called Lazy Lake, but don't let the name fool you. This POI can get very, very active in a few moments. A lot of the people around here like to visit it like a central hub, get a few items, spend some money at the market. And we'll notice it. You see the map right now. A few teams at Caddy Corner, Retail Row. As that happens, though, all the way towards the top right side, Fnatic Lame, Younes, and Robnik, who came through from Steamy Stacks, the yellow arrows on the map screen on the top right side of the circle. They're in a long-range fight and still not in the zone.
Yeah, and now my question is, where is Andretta's trio? They were the ones that were always literally by game 6, they conditioned that entire northeast part of the map. There was nowhere you're gonna go. They had the north houses as well, all to themselves. Lame's trio literally was nomads. They went all the way down south to Cape Cod by game 6 and got pushed by Andelix's trio there. So they're making adjustments. The same thing with Malibuca. Malibuca went all the way down to Cape Cod as well. They did not like it. They had a fight. Andelix came in and cleaned them all up. So all these adjustments are going to have some, like Shayo said, tsunami-type effects here on the leaderboard. Already mentioned, the #1 spot went down. That's just so huge, Shayo.
Yeah, and the reason I use Tsunami as well is because once it starts, it doesn't stop, and it's always moving forward. It looks like Shizo God is also kind of like a tsunami, the way he's pushing Lame's box. Almost stopping. They have a little bit of a pinch scenario going down right now as well. That's when one person's on one side, the other 2 are trying to bite from the back as well. Lame can't actually edit out anywhere or find a break. This is troublesome. This is just the first game, and it's already this difficult.
It feels like these trios are connected to the hip. They have so many battles throughout all the type part of the map, and this is the first time they're fighting here It's unbelievable to see these two trios who are getting up, scrappy up the leaderboard, fight here. And considering last time they fought, they're at Cape Cod.
Yeah, I mean, right now, though, Flame's doing a very good turtle impression, but the shell cracks. Udas finds a way in, shoots him down, and now I think it's a 1v3. Robnik with just 50 HP. Not sure if it's going to be possible. He runs into the storm. He gets sent back to the lobby. Shizo got flawless eliminations right there. Actually, no, I think they lost one team member, but they'll find a reboot van, and they'll be right back in the game.
This is what we're talking about. Day 2 here of the FNCS. Man, so many people want this. Last season, we saw some major adjustments. Thomas HD and Flick and Anas, Mongo Mitro and Taysom were literally running away with everything. They were putting up some big-time point performance. And Thomas HD and Flick and Anas said, that's enough. We're going to go ahead and land Stark Industries. And they basically vaulted themselves. They had a big pop-off performance that kicked them up into the day. With the damage output like Thomas HG, who leads day 1 with 19 elims, that kind of firepower landing at that power position last season was a huge thing. So that's why you're seeing teams make these kind of major adjustments, because a big pop-off performance can essentially net you thousands of dollars, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely. And remember these 4 letters as well, because he's been against Thomas HD, EGRM, or Egram, like we like to call him right here. He's going to be going for a quick fight over at the desert. Not inside zone just yet. Mawaka's going to be the last one alive here from Light and Mr. J. These guys all land on the top left side of the map, so they're all finally clashing. Their roadways intersecting here as they try to make it towards the zone. I've one teammate picked up just shortly. The ball is in Mawaka's field. The issue is this game is not fair for him. This is not just a net with 2 teams on either side. It's just 1 man versus basically 3, and you can't win that fight.
No, that's why you're seeing a sanding opportunity here. Maybe the tunnel up, but Kibo says not so fast, my friend. Going ahead and dig right into the sand and find himself an opportunity to convert some siphon and, more importantly, 2 points. Igram's trio is turning around their fate here, and with another nice, successful wipe right there as we have some battles. But, man, Mr. J's trio, who started off the day 1 with 0 points and ended the day with 0 points, looks like so far that momentum has carried over into day 2. But they've been really consistent other than that, finishing in the top 10. No doubt they have it in them to be consistent, but Shayo, this is literally a new slate of play. The meta has changed here in day 2.
Yeah, and I'm like that you mentioned that, right? You're talking about
Abby McGill. I'm at Walmart. Well, I'm going to Walmart. I'm at Walmart. Well, I'm going to Walmart. I'm at Walmart. Well, I'm going to Walmart. Alright, let me record the video. Let me stop my live. Then I'm gonna live back at